Hey, good morning, everyone. Today we're talking about ebbs and flows and why you can take two steps forward in your business and then immediately go two steps back again. The thing that we want to be focused on here is like, what are the missing gaps that keep us going forward and back? I'm going to give you an example here. Let's say that a new business starts up and they jump into like a marketing program head on before they're really ready. Well, what happens is they wind up getting a bunch of clients in, and the clients try their service out, and then they leave. And this was definitely the case when I started coaching CrossFit. We brought a lot of people in who were curious about CrossFit. Maybe they'd seen it online, and then I ran this on-ramp program that was like 4 hours of squats nonstop, and we would teach the air squat, front squat, overhead squat, wall balls the same day. And they all left thinking I can never do this because I'm horrible at this, and I'm paralyzed for like 5 days after. So I started burning through those early adopters really, really quickly because I didn't have a system to keep them. I didn't understand what the process really was to on-ramp somebody to CrossFit. So we burned through those people. And even now, 10 years later, they'll say, no, I tried CrossFit and it wasn't for me. So this is true for any service-based business. And the point today is to show you, here are the steps that you need to have done in order. And also that we don't rise to the level of opportunity before us, that we fall to the level of our preparation. If we haven't completed one of the steps and we keep trying to skip a step or jump way too far forward, we'll always fall back to that step that we miss. And we see this over and over and over again in clients who are just coming into the incubator. So here are the steps. Before anything else happens, we have to establish kind of what point B is, and we call that perfect day. So we take a few minutes to figure out, like, when everything is going perfect, what is your perfect day going to be? And it's just goal setting. If you're a fitness coach, you'll be familiar with this. Then we talk about values next, and it's really important when you're starting any business that you establish your values, and then you teach your values to your staff so that they know how to make decisions when they're confronted with a brand new situation. Then we identify our top clients, because if we know who we're trying to serve based on our values, which are determined by our perfect day, then we know what kind of services we should offer. In the beginning, we did a ton of personal training, and those were our best clients, even when we started doing CrossFit. Then we're going to determine what our best clients need, and that's going to frame our offer. We're not just going to copy what everybody else in the market is doing. We're not just going to start offering group classes because that's what everybody does. We're going to ask ourselves, what do our best potential clients want? Then from there, we're going to determine what our standard operating procedures will be. So if we determine that we're going to do nutrition consulting, personal training, and CrossFit, we're going to say, well, how do we want that done so that we're doing it the same way every time? This is the first step to delivering a high quality service, is establishing consistency first. It doesn't do any good to have you be an amazing coach at 6 a.m. and then have a really weak coach coaching the noon group, because without that consistency, you're just going to keep all the clients yourself. They'll only be attracted to you. They'll quit if they come at noon. Then after that, we want to be looking at what are the gold standards in the industry? What's a 10 out of 10 in the delivery of our service? And from there, we create opportunities for staff. So if a 10 out of 10 is defined as, class starts perfectly on time, everybody leaves smiling, everybody has 3 points of contact, everybody receives at least 3 minutes of one-on-one coaching. Now we can say, all right, we have opportunities to bring somebody else in to replace us in this class or in this service that we're delivering. After we've defined what our staff opportunities are, then we can say, here are our revenue streams. If we want other people to make a meaningful career at our gyms or in our business, we can say, here's where the money's coming from. Here's how you can make some of this money yourself, or, make an entrepreneurial living under our umbrella. Then we say, after we've gotten these clients, we need to prepare a sticky net for them so that they stick around. And that's basically building a retention strategy. From there, we say, okay, we need a sales plan, meaning we need a plan to interact with people face-to-face once they come in our doors. It's no sense pumping a bunch of cold leads in if we're scared to talk to people, okay? Or if we're going to go over to the front desk and meet them at the door with our shirts off, all sweaty, demolished from a workout. We need a sales plan. And this will also help us attract the type of clients that we want by interacting better with our current best clients, by interacting better with our neighbors, by interacting better with people we meet in person, so that we've established a trust foundation before they even come in. And then finally, affinity marketing, which is just basically a plan to work on referrals and to establish ways to help your best clients more and attract the best kind of clients for your business who are going to stick around longer. And finally, what we would call infinity marketing, which is cold lead generation and nurture. So here's a common story in our business right now. In the gym industry, the biggest challenge is not finding new leads. It's not finding people who are interested in fitness for the first time. Those people will always be out there. The biggest challenge in fitness for the last 100 years has always been helping people build behavioral change, helping them create new habits that keeps them fit and healthy forever. So that means we have to really focus on retention. If we don't have a solid retention plan, then every time we bring in new leads, we're going to lose them. And so we're going to skip over this step, bring in new leads, and then fall back. And then, okay, what do I do now? I brought these people in and I brought in 50 and I kept 10. Well, I need more cold leads. So I'm going to go back to infinity marketing again. I'm going to pump another 10 in, except this time, instead of getting 50, it was only 45. And I'm going to keep 20% of those. So now instead of keeping 10, I'm keeping 8. And okay, I'm going to go back to this again. Well, lead cost is getting more expensive. And this time I only got 25 people. And the quality of the leads was worse. So I only kept 2. What am I going to do? The problem is that you've never solved this step. And so the reason that you keep falling back to your greatest weakness is that you haven't actually fulfilled that step yet. And what we see over and over and over again in gyms and service-based businesses that fail is that they're focusing all their attention up here, but they haven't actually solved these problems. So, okay, well, I brought 50 people in, but only the people who came to my CrossFit class stuck around. If they went to another class, they didn't. So next time I spend all this money on lead gen, I need to coach the class. I need to make sure they stay around because that's a retention plan. Well, that's not a retention plan. What that's doing is you trying to skip all the way to here when you haven't established who your top clients are, what your offer should be, what the opportunities are for staff, and what a 10 out of 10 looks like in your service. So when we start mentoring people, we go through this in this exact order. And there are actually about 25 individual steps here so that we can deliver this in a very tactile, step-by-step process with mentorship, with one-on-one attention, with module support and templates. And we do it in this exact order because I don't want you to always be falling back to the place that you missed. Remember that we don't rise to the level of the opportunity. We fall back to our greatest weakness. It's the same thing we teach in the gym. And it's really, really important, no matter what business that you're in, that you build up all of these strategies in order. And that's Ebbs and Flows.